Welcome, fellas, to the Too Much Game podcast, the Too Much Game show with your gracious game advisor, yours truly, King Dre. And today it's going to be a good one. Sit back. Let's get into it. This is the Goofy Tax. We're going to talk about the Goofy Tax today. But first, guys, like this, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you get this good player-ish, fresh off the press. You can get that good game fresh off the press. If you're watching on Apple, if you're watching on Spotify, you're listening on Apple, listening on Spotify, make sure you guys leave me a five stars, leave me a review, and share the game so we can spread this game, not negativity. Also, my complete attraction system is available. We cover attraction, we cover texting, we cover conversation starters, the conversation starters that spark chemistry. So if you're struggling with knowing what to say, when to say, with the right questions to ask, I got you. If you struggle texting, when to text, how to text, flirting, all of that stuff, I got you. I got you covered. You struggle with being attractive, the complete attraction system will take care of you. Click the link in the description or in the bio or the show notes if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. Also, guys, if you need one-on-one help with me, in 8 weeks, I can get you to your goals, whether it's getting sex, get in a relationship. Now, of course, you don't want to wife up a woman in 8 weeks, but I have a woman ready for you, meaning I give you the skills so you can go out and get you a woman that can be at least ready to be put through the vetting process through. I teach you communication, all based on your style as well. So you ain't got to be somebody you're not. Communication, texting, flirting, escalation, date logistics, how to escalate from the DMs to the over the phone, then on a date, then back at your house, how to, make it happen, how to know when it's the green light, how to move things forward. I go through all of that and I get you the results in 8 weeks. And if you don't get your results in 8 weeks, I work with you at no additional cost until you do. You can't beat that. I got plenty of guys that I've coached over since 2018, I think, 2018, over 500 guys. So yeah, my record's impeccable. No smut on my name. If you need that help, the link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio, or the link is going to be in the show notes. But anyway, let's get into this game. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about the Goofy Tax today. And in order for you to understand what the Goofy Tax is, you have to first understand what a Goofy is. Now, if you black and you from the culture, you from certain, environments, you understand what a Goofy is. And for my guys who don't, because I got a lot of white guys who watch, a lot of guys from other countries who may not be hip to the way that we speak in the slang words we use. But a goofy, or the word goofy, is basically a blanket term that comes from black street culture, not the movie Goofy. I mean, not the Disney character Goofy, but we use goofy, street term, meaning it could mean a bunch of things. It can mean a guy's corny, like if you corny, you goofy. If you lame, you goofy. If you weird, you would be considered goofy. Like, you coming around, you being some weird shit or different. It's like that dude on some goofy shit. Or you weak, right? You weak. You don't have courage. You're goofy. It can also mean someone lame to the game, right? Who don't understand what's going on around him. So if you in an arena and you don't know your surroundings and you're not aware of the arena you just stepped in, whether it's an arena or a facet of life or just life in general, you would be considered goofy. Other people who are in the know would look at you as goofy, like you're goofy. Or it could mean somebody that's doing clown shit or a clown, right? So let's say a dude run up in a Family Dollar, right? A dude trying to make some money, he run up and rob a Family Dollar and end up getting 20 years for $5 out the register. That's goofy shit. That's clown shit, right? Or if you're a white guy and, whatever y'all do that's be considered clown shit or stupid or whatever the case may be, it would be considered goofy shit. Drinking and driving and hitting, a pregnant lady and kid, that's goofy shit. That's clown shit. Drinking and driving or, whatever y'all be doing. But it can also mean, like I say, weak, scary, and not willing to do what's needed to be done to handle your business. And that's what it originally meant. As far as black street culture, the word goofy has always been around, but the way it's used now, it comes from a certain street culture where somebody who was being fake and not willing to basically stand on their street business. Like you coming around street guys, but you're not really street, and you're not willing to do the things that's necessary to be in the streets, but you just to hang around, you would be considered a goofy. And so that morphed into other stuff, into, what it is now. But that's basically, what a goofy is. Or it can also be someone who's unaware or lacking knowledge, right? So if you go into like dating, right? If you dating around and you trying to date women and you don't know what's going on, you don't know the type of women, you don't know what to do, we would consider you game goofy. Like if you don't got no game, you don't have no knowledge, you don't have no strategy, you just out here wet behind the ears, green and goofy. So it could mean a bunch of different things. Not being fake, you being fake, you being a clown, you performing, you entertaining, you wifing up women who's they're sluts. You look at a lot of these rappers, they clowns, they're goofy, right? They do goofy shit. So that's basically what a goofy is. If I hope that I broke it down enough for you to understand. Just awkward, clown, lame, fake, all of that is goofy, and doing goofy acts or the symptoms or the actions that a goofy person would make is the goofy shit. So when you hear somebody say that, that's what that means. Now that we know what a goofy is, what is the goofy tax, right? The goofy tax has always existed. It will always exist. It existed before our societies. It's been a thing of the past, and it's going to be a thing of the future, even when we long gone. The goofy tax is going to always exist. And the goofy tax is basically the repercussions that you pay for being goofy or doing goofy shit, right? It's paid in either money or time, energy, emotional repercussions, basically a tax on your life that are negative repercussions and consequences. And typically, oftentimes, that tax you pay benefits somebody else. Does that make sense? So it's the repercussions that you pay for being goofy. Remember, everything I said that was goofy, not knowing something. If I go to Africa and I don't know the price of their water, I'm the goofy. I'm the goofy in that environment. And if a water is 50 cents, I don't know their dollars. So if I go to Kenya or something and their water is 50 cents, naturally to the people there, and I don't know any better, they're gonna charge me $10, or the same in like a place like energy, India or something like that. That's an example of me not knowing, right? I'm gonna pay a goofy tax. Doing clown shit. That guy that run up in the Family Dollar and he go get try to go get some money, and he ended up getting $5, and then now he got to serve the next 25 years of his life. That's the goofy tax. You finna pay the state. You gonna get a state 25 years of free labor over $5. That's the goofy tax. You gonna pay a goofy tax for that. It's the tax you pay for doing goofy shit. And like I say, you can pay in money, you pay in time, you pay with your life. Some people in the grave, they paid the ultimate goofy tax. And this goofy tax is not a thing just in hip hop culture or urban culture or black culture. I'm calling it the goofy tax because that's what I call it. But this is basically the tax you pay for doing bad shit or doing the wrong shit. Life gonna tax that ass, period. No matter what race you are, no matter what walk of life you come from. And that's the thing, like I say all the time, you're going to play the game or the game going to play you. And that transcends race. It transcends culture. It transcends your sexuality. It transcends how, fly you think you are. It transcends your country, your nationality. If you do goofy shit, life is going to hit that ass. Life is going to put that belt to that ass for sure. So I don't want guys to think I'm just talking about blacks, and no. We talking about everybody. I'm just calling it the goofy tax because that's what it is. In the streets, right, guys that we consider lame or country. So let's say and I ain't condoning street shit or drug dealing or nothing like that. I'm not condoning it. But, back in the days, let's say a dude was from some small country town. Let's say he was from Zephyr Hills or some shit like that outside of Tampa. He's from Zephyr Hills or fucking, I don't know, Dade City or something, little country dude, right? And he came and he needed to get something. He needed to get some, let's just say it's weed. It's a pound of weed or something. And back then, let's say if we was letting them go for 1,100, 1,000 or something like that, we'll charge him 1,400. We'll charge him a goofy tax, and then that extra we'll go get to our baby mamas or go buy a bottle in the club or go buy some shoes with the extra shit we just made. That's the goofy tax. And so he got taxed for being what we would consider a goofy. Now, is it right? Nah, not really, but it is what it is. But if you were considered lame, you got hit with the goofy tax. But most of us have paid some form of goofy tax. Speeding, they got a sign that says do 60 miles an hour on the highway, and you doing 80 miles an hour, and then you get pulled over, and now you got to pay $400 and take classes. That's a goofy tax. You got to pay court costs and all this shit. That's the goofy tax. That's a goofy tax. $400 extra. It go to the state. It go to this. It go to that. It's goofy tax. Like I say, somebody gonna benefit from the repercussions, right? More often than not, somebody benefits from your mistake. When you slip, somebody grip. We've all paid the goofy tax. I've paid the goofy tax several times in my life. I give you something more in particular. I know y'all like hearing my life stories and stuff, but I done paid the goofy tax several times in my life. And the thing is, the more arrogant and egotistical you are, oftentimes the higher the tax gonna be. Because when you egotistical and arrogant, you don't know when to stop, and you don't know how deep you going, because your goal in life is to feel better about yourself. Your goal in life is for image. It's not for the greater good of yourself. And so when you think like that, you don't operate in reality, you operate in delusion. And when you operate in delusion, the bigger mistakes you make, and the bigger the mistake, the bigger the tax you pay. So I done paid the goofy tax, especially when I was younger. I don't pay it too much nowadays, especially when I was younger. Man, I used to be, I done paid thousands of dollars in court costs from speeding and tickets. I used to have an SR22. I used to have an SR22. And if you don't know what that means, just stupid, goofy shit. If you don't know what that means, that's basically when you get so many points and the state get tired of you on the road driving. And I didn't run red lights, but I used to always speed because I wasn't paying attention. I'm not a speed junkie. Like, I'm not one of them guys that's an adrenaline junkie. I ain't no adrenaline junkie. But I never used to pay attention. I used to just be driving kind of without a care. Not reckless. I'd never been reckless. But if it's like I got pulled over for speeding one time, and I was doing like 40 in a school zone, but I didn't know it was a school zone because I wasn't paying attention. And that was like a $300 ticket. And so I rack up all these tickets. And back then, before they had changed the law, back then you were able to go to the tax place or to go to the county collector, and you could just extend it. And so I would just extend all my tickets. And then in the midst of me doing this, I think this was 2013 or something. One year they changed it to where you couldn't extend them no more outside of 30 days. And so all of my things for the last few years, I needed to pay it. All that, it came up to thousands of dollars, or they was going to suspend my license, right? So then I end up paying this shit all at one time, not knowing it don't, when you get point, we have a point system for your license in Florida. And so now all of these tickets are due, and I have to pay them. And with the license system, in the point system, if you get a certain amount of points on your license, they suspend your license for a certain amount of time. And it's not when you do the infraction, it's when you pay, right? So I didn't know, and these things had happened over years, and typically they fall off after a year. So let's say you accumulate 12 points on your license and your license gets suspended. After a year, those points will fall off, right? But I had these tickets racked up over the last, 3 or 4 years, just pushing it off. And so now it's like, okay, you need to pay this, or we're going to suspend your license until you pay this fee on top of court dates. Because you would go, instead of paying a ticket, you'll just be like, hey, I want to set a court date. And then you just go extending the court date. And so now I'm tacking on all these fucking, this was crazy. I'm talking about, this is probably the biggest goofy tax one of the biggest goofy taxes I ever paid. And I know this don't got anything to do with women, but just follow me. So I was fucking stupid and arrogant back then, bro. Because I was making a lot of money, but the court cost is adding up, right? Because you go and you say, "Oh, I want to do a court date. I don't want to pay. I'm gonna do a court date." And so you go, you set the court date, and then you just extend it. So they made this new law, and so now I got to pay all this shit. So all of these tickets are sitting here, and I got to pay them, or they're gonna take my license. And I need my license because I was in the streets, and I always believed in, you know, one of the things that kept me from going to jail over stupid shit was me. I've always been one of them dudes. So I'm gonna always make sure my license is good and my license is valid, because what happens is a lot of the time, a lot of dudes, they don't be legit on the road, and then when they get pulled over, it gives the police a reason to search when you don't have your license, because they finna either issue you a ticket or take you to jail, and then you get knocked off with your work, your gun, and all that shit. Whereas I got pulled over a bunch of time. I don't smoke weed, so you don't smell no weed. I didn't smoke in my car, so they never had a reason to search me. And I'm not combative or anything. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I said all that to say that I always wanted to make sure my license is good and not have to depend on people to drive me around. I want to drive around how I want to drive around, and my license be good. And so that if I get pulled over, it's just a ticket and I go on by my day. And if they so happen to just violate my rights and all that shit, I know I get it thrown out, because you don't have a reason to just search somebody's car. You understand? So this day comes to where they send me a letter, and I have to go take care of this now. There's no more extensions. And I have racked up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in court costs, late fees, and I got to pay the original tickets. It was so many tickets. So I end up paying them on the day. I end up paying, just coming out my mind, it was thousands of dollars. I just like coming out my pocket, paying thousands of dollars. So what happens is, since I paid them all on that day, now all these tickets gave me all this points for this year. Like that shit was like, I think it was like 12 points back then, and you spend your life. I had like 30 some points, but it was a lot of points. But I got them for that year because I paid them on that day, instead of, like, in my mind, it's like, okay, the points, you get the points when you get whenever you get the infraction. But no, the points go on your license when you pay them. So years of tickets I paid on one day, and I got them points on my license for that whole year. So now my license is fucking suspended. Now I'm out of money. My license is suspended. I done paid thousands of dollars. My license is suspended. This basically set off a chain of bullshit for the next probably like 2-3 years of my life. My license is suspended. Now I gotta depend on people to drag me around. Now I gotta take crazy risk with no light. It's just whatever. Thank God I ain't, I thank God nothing never came of that. Like, I got pulled over and all that shit without a license. There was a couple times after that, because that was around the time like I was getting ready to like inch up out of this street shit or whatever. A couple years later, I had got a couple years after, I got pulled over coming from my granddad's funeral, and I didn't have a license. But I told the dude, look, but it came from then. Told the police, look, I'm coming from a funeral, right? He pulled me coming from the like coming out of the funeral home. I got pulled over, but I'm like, look, and the funeral home was by my house, so I'm like, look, man, I'm at my granddaddy's funeral, you could see, and my people had seen me, getting pulled over, so they stopped and all that shit. So I'm like, look at my license. I just got to go right here. This is my granddaddy's funeral, da da da. So he let me go, wrote me a ticket. This caused me to get a revocation. So now my license is revoked for 5 years. Like, I'm like, like, I can't get a license. Like, there's nothing I could do. I can't get no hardship license because I ain't got no job. So it's revoked, meaning like ain't nothing. When it's suspended, it's just suspended. Like, okay, after a certain amount of time or after you pay a fine, you can get it. Revoked meaning it's done. So now I got to pay a lawyer thousands of dollars. So what the lawyer did was thousands of dollars. I pay him, so he went and get a couple of those old tickets throughout, and I dropped my points again. But then I have to end up getting an SR22 insurance, meaning high risk insurance, and that shit like $700 fucking dollars a month. So this went on. I learned my lesson big time with this, but this was me being goofy, being in an arena, being out in the world, and not being aware of what was going on, not being aware of the system, not being aware of the things in place that basically, because in the state of Florida, we don't have state taxes. We don't have state taxes, and I end up realizing this. We don't have state taxes, so what happens is a large percent of our revenue as a state comes from traffic infractions. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just a goofy caught up in the system because I'm arrogant and thinking I could speed. I just pay the shit. I got the money. Da 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 da. This shit cost me years of just bullshit. And so I finally ended up getting it clean. I paid the lawyer thousands of fucking dollars. He ended up getting the revocation. He ended up getting the revocation lifted, and I was finally able to drive again legit. But then I had to do like a I think it was like a fucking 48-hour driving school. So I had to go like 12 hours a day for on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, like 12 hours a day for like a few weekends. But I learned a lot. That driving school opened my eyes. That's a whole nother story for another day. I ain't drunk I used to be drinking and driving, all type of shit. I damn near ain't had no tickets since, and that was what, 2016. It opened my eyes. So now on my license, I got safe driver. My insurance is low. You know, I'm being basically an old responsible man now. You know, I got low insurance, safe driver on my license. I'm clean, legit. But yeah, man, that I paid a heavy goofy tax, and a lot of people benefited from my clown shit that I was doing. You know, as far as driving and stuff. Now I know y'all here to hear about how it pertains to women and stuff like that. We're gonna get into that, but. Yeah, I done paid the goofy tax. At one time I paid, I'm arrogant. I'm trying to invest my little money and shit. So I start me a business, start me a hair business. I need a site. Somebody was telling me, oh, you should do like a WordPress. And I was like, fuck WordPress. Ain't nobody got time to be sitting to learn that shit. So I literally paid somebody, I think $14,000 to create me an e-commerce site, which was back in 2013, I think, when I started my hair business. $14,000 I paid this company to build this e-commerce site. So a couple years later, maybe a year or so later, when I'm knee deep in the business trying to get in and trying to scrap money together and all this shit, I figure out how to use WordPress, and it's super simple. And the shit was like damn near free. So I just felt like a big goofy that I got played out of that. Like just a simple e-commerce site. These dudes hit me for these white guys. White guys don't rob you with no gun. They tax that if you egotistical and you arrogant, white guys would get all that money up out your ass. But yeah, these white guys, they charged me $14,000 to do a fucking e-commerce, 13, 14, something like that. $1,000 to do an e-commerce site. Goofy tax. That's what I'm saying. I was arrogant in my ego, but that's the goofy tax. I done paid for it in dealing with women, which I'll get into in a second. But what I'm saying is we all pay the the goofy tax. And if you do goofy shit, you're going to pay for it. So there's 5 behaviors. I know what I was just talking about wasn't about women, but there's 5 behaviors as far as dating go that if you commit or if you do these things, you will pay the heaviest goofy tax. And I'm going to get into them right now. If you struggle getting dates, getting sex, or retaining women because you want a relationship or having a dating life you want, I can help you. I can help you get yourself attractive so that you can achieve the results you want. I can help you patch up those holes in your game and help you fix the areas that stall due to hesitation, not knowing how to text, or escalate. And I can do it for you in just 8 weeks. If you don't get your desired result, I'll work with you at no additional cost until you get your desired result. Click the link in the description or bio and hop on a free call with my team to see if it's a good fit for you. Now, the first behavior that will have you paying a hefty goofy tax is ejaculating in no good women. Guys, it is your responsibility. I hate that they say women are responsible for who's born, right? In a sense, okay, I get it. But if there's no seed, there's no baby. If there's no seed, there's no child support. There's no nothing. And I believe in you should repopulate and continue your gene pool, whether you're white, black, Asian. Go have you some white babies and continue the white race. Have you some Asian babies and continue the Asian race. Have you some black babies. I'm not one of them, we too overpopulated. I don't want to depopulate. I want the earth to continue in existence. And so I'm not saying don't have kids. Having kids is not goofy. Ejaculating women is not goofy. Ejaculating in no good women is goofy. And you will pay a hefty goofy tax. Because now you're tied to a no good woman who's toxic, dramatic, stressful, vindictive, low quality. You tied to her, legally binded to her for at least 18 years, 24 years if the kid go to college. And if the kid is special needs or autistic, you're tied to her for life. You understand? And she fuck around and put you on child support. Not only are you gonna be stressed out, drama, but then they gonna put extras on it. So now you're paying all this money out of pocket. Got to fight to see her in and out of court. Whoop de whoop de whoop, and you're paying your money to the state. Now you got the state in your business because you goofy. So the state will tax a goofy for sure. This whole system is to prey on the goofies, right? And if you in credit card debt, you know that's another. I should have talked about that earlier. But credit card debt is goofy. I've been there too. How you think these people get these points? The points that you get when you did 3% and 5%, you spend $1,000, you spend this, they give you 5% back. That comes from the people paying interest. The taxing the goofies and giving to the people who doing the right shit. So goofy tax. But anyway, going to child support and all this old shit, man, you gonna pay for that. You pay for that. So you paying your money to the state taking they cut, and then they dispersing it to your baby mama. So now the state in your business. And the state gonna prey on the goofy. The state gonna prey on the weak. You know what I'm saying? Look at all these guys, these rappers. Like, and I'm gonna stand on this. I would rather be a stepdad than have a million different women in my pockets, right? And I'm gonna use the Russell Wilson Future thing. And the only reason I'm saying this is because this is a big topic in this space. And I like Future. I like Russell Wilson. I admire a guy like Russell Wilson. He inspires me, to be honest. I like him. I like his get out. I like how he presents himself. I like how clean cut he is. I like how grounded he is. I like the fact that he gives back. Like that. Like it ain't nothing to even hate on with him. Like, but guys try to call him corny and then, promote like Future. And I like Future. I like Future music, but Future got 8, 9 baby mamas. That's all in his pockets. That's goofy. That's a goofy tax. I'd rather be Russell Wilson than Future. You understand what I'm saying? With a loving family that I can, loving and happy, and at least what they appear to be. And everybody waiting on the downfall. We ain't seen it yet. They done been together 10, 15 years. Everybody, they're going to do that, They just growing and happy and having more kids and all this old shit. And you see what I'm saying? So, but Russell Wilson ain't paying no goofy tax because he got with a woman that had 6 other dudes before him. Your girl got 25 dudes last year. Like, but he ain't paying no goofy tax because he raising somebody else's son. And to me, it seemed like he being blessed for it. He's continuing to be successful. They look happy as ever. He still look young. His skin ain't aging. He ain't on drugs. He ain't got to do drugs to clear his mind from the bullshit that he done did. So I just don't like a lot of y'all niggas goofy to me that be talking that shit. That's just goofy. And then you come, I'm not no lame. You feel what I'm saying? But I've always admired dudes like Russell Wilson, man. I wish I could be that, I can be. I'm not saying I can't be, but I've always been inspired to be clean cut and present myself away, being more refined and, not as rough around the edges. Not that I want to be him, but I look up to guys like that, But shout out to him. I don't see him paying the goofy tax. And if you do, you let me know where he paying the goofy tax at. And then on the other hand, who paying the goofy tax? But yeah, ejaculating in no good women. Having baby after baby after baby. Then your daughter growing up, you ejaculating in a woman who ain't fit to be a mother. Your daughter growing up being raised by a whore. What you think she gonna be? Now you got the stress of not only is you paying child support and you got a strained relationship with the baby mama, but now your daughter being raised by a toxic whore. And then we already know the apple don't fall far from the tree. You see what I'm saying? So now you got to worry about that at night. That's the goofy tax, bro. That's the goofy tax. The next behavior that will have you paying a hefty goofy tax is wifing up active sluts and whores. Active. Now, people clean themselves up. I was once a bad guy. Not a bad person, but I did, I was in a world where I had to survive, I've always been a good man, a good person. It's a good person now, but, I've changed my life. There's no way I would do some of the things I used to do 20 years ago. No way in hell. right? So I don't believe that people can't change. I don't believe, oh, once you're this, you're always that. I don't believe that because I know I was something different 15 years ago and I saw myself change. I know what was in me versus what's in me now, what I don't have the capacity for now. 20 years ago, I would have blew your motherfucking head off over the right shit. There's the only way I would do that now is if you know, threatening my life or my family. But I would have did that shit if you owed me enough money or you disrespected me. I would have took your motherfucking, took your motherfucking head right off your, But now I don't give a fuck about what somebody called me or somebody disrespect me and all that shit. Now I'm not gonna let you disrespect me in front of my kids, but what I was willing to do 20 years ago, there's no way. So I said all that to say, people change and I understand that. Now, is that to say, oh, you should get with a woman that used to be an HO? I ain't saying that, but I'm not one of the people who believe that once you something, you always that something. But I said all that to say wifing up active. So when I say the goofy tax you get is wifing up active, like women who are actively out here thotting, cheating, jumping from dick to dick, need validation from men, wifing up active sluts and whores. And most of us have done this. When you do this, you're going to pay a hefty, goofy tax. I've done this. We're going to keep it real. We're going to have a vulnerable moment, man. Your boy's done this probably 3 or 4 times. It stopped. Once I learned and I pulled my head up, I stopped being so arrogant and egotistical. And I realized what was going on. It stopped, and this hasn't happened to me since, I was 20 or something years old. Maybe 20, 21 years old. Yeah, up until that time, man. Remember the first time it happened, I was unaware, right? So goofy, unaware, jumping into trying to mess with women and trying to mess with these little chicks and these little hoochies and not knowing, goofy, right? And so I got with a chick that was one of my first girlfriends. I'm talking about real girlfriends that you hitting and all that stuff. 15, 14. I done had girlfriends before, but I'm talking about that we and I'm having sex with it and all this old shit. Goofy. The big thought. Then another one. On me. She was on me though, on me, but got another one. Big thought. She smashed the homie behind my back. Big thought. I was a teenager, probably was, 16, 17 years old. Big thought. Then when I was around 18, y'all done heard this story, before briefly, but I was in the club. Goofy. And the thing is, again, it's ego. I didn't think I was goofy. I thought I was that nigga at 18. Didn't know shit. Goofy. Met this chick in the club. Fine as hell, right? Spanish chick. To me back then, right? And you know how we was about the Puerto Ricans and shit back then. Puerto Rican chicks and Hispanic chicks, fine Spanish chick. Man, this was the biggest HO I ever seen in my life. But I wifed her up. I ain't know no better. Goofy, right? So then, after she do me dirty, I'm thinking I'm fly. She got a friend that had moved down here from Massachusetts. The friend, I get at the friend. So in thinking I'm getting back at her, I lock in with the friend. The friend do me dirty. This was the chick that told you cheated on me when I was in jail. But that was the last time that happened to me that I know of. I haven't been cheated on since I was 21. And if I have, I don't know about it. But just actively just that goofy shit. But yeah, I dated the girl friend trying to get back at her, not being goofy, not realizing they the same people. They hang together. You understand? They hang together. They peas in the pod. They go out together. They kick it together. They the same type of people. They both hoes. I ain't know that though because I was arrogant and goofy. I paid for that. Emotions, time, energy, all that shit. I paid for that each time. But I learned. I learned the game. I learned it early, and I stopped dating like that. Wifing up active sluts and hoes, you're going to pay. You're going to pay a big tax. Investing in women. And it don't matter if you know or not. You play the game or the game gonna play you. And this ignorance is no excuse of the law, like they say in court. And just because you don't know it don't mean it ain't gonna get the game ain't gonna get you. So you better game yourself up. But guys, they get with these women who look at Travis Hunter. He didn't know he's another arrogant guy. I was basically like Travis Hunter when I was 19. Did the same thing. And the crazy part about it, I had a chick when I met, because the Spanish chick that I was talking about, she was probably a year and a half before I met her friend, because she wasn't always friends with that girl. That girl had moved down here. But after the Spanish chick, I had a nice little something. Decent girl. She's the girl married to this day. Been married to the same dude since since back then. But, I messed that up. To get with the girl that was friends with the Spanish girls, to get back at her. I messed that up. Then that girl, she a good girl, so she not finna be letting nobody cheat on her and all that shit. So she stopped fucking with me. So now I got this chick, and she do me dirty when I get locked up. Do me super dirty. I'm talking about super dirty. But I learned then and there, like, I got to move different. I can't be acting like I can't be moving like that because it costs too much. Now the good thing about it is, I learned that then, and I wasn't like in a relationship or married or like got kids and all that shit. So I was fortunate enough, because I changed the way that I did things then, that I didn't have to pay that tax like some of y'all got to pay that tax. Y'all these women be living with you, and y'all got kids with them, and y'all be supporting their lifestyle and all that shit, and they just be cheating and all that. So I was fortunate enough to not have to do it that way, but I still paid that tax. But you're gonna pay for, if you wife up sluts and hoes and women who active attention whores and stuff, you're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for it in time, energy, emotional trauma, baggage, and you're gonna pay for it with your money for sure. Now the next way that you're gonna pay a hefty goofy tax, if you do this behavior, you're gonna pay a hefty goofy tax, is trying to buy a woman's love and affection. I'm not talking about just random tricking on no chick. You see a chick, or you go on the Blade or whatever, you meet a chick in the club. Hey, I got 200 for it. What's up? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about trying to lead in with your wallet, trying to get a woman to like you because of your material success or your money, or you try to buy that love and affection from her and lock her into a relationship. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that dearly. That's probably one of the worst behaviors you can do. And not like in a way it's like for society or something. But when you do that, you attract the worst of the worst. And then the thing is, you will never compete with your money, because your money and your resources, it remedies survival. And survival is the first basic law of man. Survive, right? We thriving isn't our first option as human beings. Like, that's not what we default to thriving. We're wired to survive, right? And so resources a lot of the times will remedy the survival. And when you come in with your resources, that's what's going to be the priority over your love and intimacy. That's thriving, right? But surviving and getting your bills paid, and that's survival. And so when you come in leading with that, that's what the woman is going to see you for. And once she sees you as something to survive off of, a come up, a trick, or whatever, even if she get into a relationship and she marry you, once she sees you as that, that's the way she's going to always see you. You'll never be able to compete with that. Your personality, your game, you could be a great person, you can have it all, but you'll never be able to compete with your money. Now, if you lead with who you are, your personality, you connect as a human being with this person, and then she discovers that you have the resources, then it's like, that's the bonus. Like, I have this great guy that I'm in love with, and he can take care of me. But if it's the first and they see you as this first, you're never going to come back from it. Look at the movie Casino. If you haven't seen the movie Casino, your homework is to watch the movie Casino, and when you finish it, drop a comment. See, when I be telling y'all to do this stuff, y'all don't be coming back and dropping them comments. I like to be in touch with y'all. I like to, because y'all won't join. I have guys that's in the community, but for the guys who don't join the community, that don't have the access to me, I like chopping it up with y'all. And the only way I could chop it up with y'all and stay in touch with y'all is the comments. So drop a comment. When you go watch the movie Casino, come back and let me know if you've seen the lesson. Right? This guy tried to buy this woman. This woman was a woman of the night, a hustler, and this was a powerful, I don't want to say a made guy because he wasn't Italian. He wasn't a part of the mob, but he was affiliated. He was affiliated, he was connected, he was very powerful. He ran a casino. Rich guy, and he saw this woman, she was beautiful to him, and he tried to buy her. And it ended up basically damn near costing him his whole business, his whole life, everything. He tried to buy this woman, and she pretty much ruined his life. Right? Ruined his connection. She was sleeping with guys, his homies, and all type of shit. And she was taking his money and giving it to a pimp. Go watch that movie. It's Casino. It's basically a mob movie. And a lot of people, they like it for the gangster part of it. But there's a love story in that. And it's not basically not even love. It's a trick. There's a trick story in that. Go watch it. Very valuable. And when you watch it, come back and let me know. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on, drop it in the comments and let me know. But that's what happens when you try to buy a woman's love and affection. You'll never buy it. She'll never love you. She'll never respect you. The desire will never be there because survival is first. So always remember that. If you try to buy a woman's love and affection, you're going to pay a hefty, goofy tax. The next one is wifing and getting into relationships with women who don't like you. Women will be with a man. Women have the ability, out of necessity and survival, to be with a man that they don't like. Have kids with him, marry him, and everything. Is it wicked? Absolutely. But it happens. And a lot of the times, it's not nefarious. Women genuinely believe that they can grow into liking you. They genuinely see, okay, well, I'm not attracted to him now, but we can grow into that. Women's logic makes them believe that, and they wholeheartedly believe that if they stick down and they love, that the love and the desire will grow. Y'all believe the shit too. Unfortunately, it don't happen like that. And so a lot of the times guys get in relationships and they think it'll grow. The woman thinks it'll grow. And then you with a woman who ultimately resents you now because she can't be fulfilled. But she's dedicating her life to this situation and sacrificing and making sure the home's all this old shit. But the one thing that she wants, she can't get. So it's almost like, yes, she's getting, and I'm just talking about stay-at-home women, but yes, her bills are being paid, da-da-da-da. And logically, it's like you should appreciate that. But when the soul is empty, the soul is empty. I'm big on women should appreciate the shit. Like, I'm big on appreciation and gratitude. But when the soul is empty, the soul is empty, and that don't matter as much as it should. You understand? Gratitude and all that shit go out of the window when the soul empty. And so what happens is they go through not having this romantic connection, not having this desire, and then this little bickering and fights, and it grows, and then this resentment sets in, and the next thing you know, they hate the person, and then the man is resenting the woman because he's not getting fulfilled with that desire either, that romantic desire either, that I believe is a basic human need. So not it's a need, but it's a luxury, right? I think we need it, but I don't think we need it to survive. And I think, again, survival takes priority. We can do without it. Let me not say need, but a deep desire that I believe all humans have this desire, not a need. But he's not being fulfilled. That deep desire to, connect with the woman that you love and a woman that loves you. He's not being fulfilled. And so resentment grows. And the next thing you know, it's just, it's the time wasted. And that's your biggest asset is time. And when you pay someone with your time, that's way heftier than paying for it in money. And so oftentimes the guy that does that pay for it time and money because the woman wakes up one day and say, I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy. It never materialized. I'm just not happy. And they go to the divorce court. They got to split the kids. He on child support. He paying alimony, all this old shit, splitting half of his, that's the goofy tax. It's the goofy tax. Is it right? Who knows? But that's the goofy tax for wifing and getting into a relationship with women who don't like you. And when I say like you, I mean genuinely desires you with sexual attraction. If sexual attraction isn't there, respect and sexual attraction isn't there, your relationship is not going to work the way that you want it to work. And you're going to pay for that, whether you're aware of this or not. Because a lot of these guys, most of these guys, and what I call beta maleville, right? And this was a thing in the all the way up until now, like communities are starting to change. And, it's these big companies come and buy up all these big subdivisions and they rent them out to people from, things are starting to change a little bit, but the suburbs and subdivision communities in the suburbs where you basically beta maleville, where that's what I call it at least, where you got these nice houses and these nice communities and these stay-at-home women. You see women jogging at 11 o'clock in the afternoon while the husband at work, and they just beta males taking care of women, who don't really like them. But yeah, that's from wifing and getting into relationships with women who don't like you. And those guys are not aware of, they wasn't aware of what's going on. Wasn't aware and hip to the game and what y'all would consider the red pill and all this old shit and Rollo Tomasi books. And they didn't know all this shit, but they still paid for it. So whether you want to, you have ignorance of it or not, you still going to pay. You still going to pay that tab for sure. Ignorance is no excuse to the law. You can't go to court and say, I didn't know that was the thing. You still going to pay. So, wifing and get into relationships with women who don't desire you and like you, and you're going to pay a hefty, goofy tax, my guy. The next one, and I see this a lot with coaching, is trying to friendship your way into sex. This is the biggest waste of your time and energy and money ever. That's not how this works. You can't friendship your way into lovers. If a woman looks at you as a friend, and it's foul anyway that you do that, to try to act as a friend, but then you basically a wolf in sheep's clothing. You try to come as harmless friend, but you really have this sexual desire, and so that's flawed. That's foul. You shouldn't do that, and you deserve everything you get. But what happens is you waste your time courting this woman, spending time with this woman. Some dudes, I'm talking about, they be friends for years and they chase this and follow this woman around for years. And the woman genuinely in her mind believes that it's a friend. And this your goofy ass sitting there, time, dates, energy, frustration, because you sit on the couch with her, you really want to do it, but you don't want to mess the friendship up. So you're horny, you're frustrated. You got to hear her talk about other dudes and cry about other dudes, and you're jealous, low key. That's the goofiest shit ever. You pay a hefty tax, time, energy, feelings, trauma, all type of shit. So trying to friendship your way into pussy is goofy, and you pay a goofy tax. If you like a woman and you interested in a woman and you desire a woman, you should present yourself as that in the beginning, because once she sees you as a friend, the sexual desire goes away. Once she sees you as a friend, a brother, and she may have liked you in the beginning, but once you position as a friend, it signals to her, he don't like me. And so women are not like y'all. Women don't follow men around for years. Now they'll follow a man that got their heart and that they invested in. But how y'all will not know a woman and y'all will follow her along for years and y'all will fantasize. Women ain't like that. When you reject them, they are on to the next. A woman reject y'all just keep going and keep going and keep going. Women ain't like that, bro. Now, again, once you got a woman's mind, soul, and her heart, just depending on, the level of esteem she has for herself, you can try to get rid of a woman and they'll follow you around and they won't let you go and they'll deal with you dealing with other women. I'm not talking about that. That's after you get them and put your game down. But like how in the beginning, the woman will reject you and you just keep going and keep going. If you reject a woman and she don't got no emotional attachment to you and she don't like you and she don't desire you, it's over with. So what I'm saying is when you present as a friend to her, even if she liked you, to her it's like, damn, I liked him, but he only see me as a friend. Whatever attraction and sexual, there's something in them that it kills it. And it's over with and it'll never come back. And they be on to the next. I think men need to learn how to do that. I do that because if you don't like me, I ain't got no rap for you. But yeah, a lot of y'all, chick reject you. Oh, I just want to be friends, and you just keep going, keep going. Tell a woman that, and she ain't into you like that. She on to the next immediately. You see, so learn from women. But y'all just go and go and go and go, wasting time, energy, frustration, emotional. Just go and go and go. That's goofy. And you pay a goofy tax. That's the goofy tax. The emotions you feel. And she's benefiting from it. Remember, I say a big proponent of the goofy tax, and not always, but most often not, somebody else is benefiting from it. The baby mama benefiting from it if you ejaculating no good women. The active slut and whore, they benefiting from it because they're getting boyfriend treatment. You're taking care of them. Trying to buy a woman's love and affect. Somebody's benefiting from your mistakes. You understand? But yeah, that's one of the goofiest things you can do. So, yeah. Also, too, this just popped in my head too. That's crazy. One of the goofiest things you can do in the dating game is, if you don't know, and this is a shameless plug, I be coming up with it on the spot. This is a shameless plug. One of the goofiest things, so it's not 5, it's 6. One of the goofiest things that you can do in the dating game is know you need help. Know that you struggle. Know you can't escalate. Know you have problems communicating. Know you texting, and you ain't hitting me up to get coached. Like my guys that did hit me up to get coached, and they got that problem fixed. They having sex. They got relationships. I done had guys. It's an 8-week program. I done had guys pay me, get their results after 4 months, and don't come no more, like, because they straight, and they literally got 4 more sessions. That's how good it is. They get their results. They get their women on. I'm talking about that fast, and they just be. Psh. But when you need help, and you know you need help, and you can invest, and you don't, you pay the goofy tax. You pay the goofy tax. Because struggling when you don't have to is goofy. Not changing your situation, not doing what you need to do to change your situation and fix your situation is very, very goofy. It's very, very goofy. I'm glad I just thought of this because that just blends perfectly. If I know that I need to learn how to structure a coaching program, and I can afford to learn how to structure a coaching program, and not doing that, and it's costing me coaching clients, and it's costing me money, and it's causing me problems. If I don't do what I need to do to fix that, that's goofy, and I'm going to keep paying the goofy tax. You're going to keep paying the goofy tax. You're going to keep going on dates that go nowhere. You're going to keep fucking getting used and abused by women. You're going to keep hearing, let's just be friends. I don't feel a connection. Until you get frustrated. You're going to keep being lonely. That walk of shame to the bathroom to throw away your sock that you done skeeted in because you've been watching smut. That walk of shame and guilt that you feel, that's the goofy tax. Getting cheated on because you're getting women, that's the goofy tax. And you know that you need to fix it. You know that you can fix it, but you don't. And so you just wallow and wallow and wallow. That's goofy. It's goofy. When you have the opportunity to improve yourself and you don't. Now, not improving yourself is not goofy, but if you know you have a problem, that problem is causing you pain, and you acknowledge the pain, and you know the pain is there, and you know you need to fix it, and you don't, that's goofy. Not wanting to change is not goofy. Knowing you need to change and it's hindering your life, and knowing you want to change and you don't do nothing about it, that's goofy. You understand? So, yeah, not hitting your boy up, you're gonna pay the goofy tax. But yeah, if you need coaching, guys, that'll do that for the day. So if you need coaching, hit me up. The link is in the description. The link is in the bio. The link is in the show notes, wherever you see this at. 8 weeks, I'll take you there. I get you the results you're looking for within 8 weeks. If I don't get you the results in 8 weeks, I'll work with you at no additional cost until you get your results. And I mean that. So hit me up. The link is in the description, the bio. Also, if you don't really need coaching, if you're a self-starter, you can get or if you're just new and you want to see what I'm working with first, you can get the complete attraction system. Click the link in the description or the bio. I go over attraction. I cover attraction, texting, and conversation starters that spark chemistry. So you can get that with the link in the bio. Link in the bio for everything. Link in the description for everything. Link in the show notes for everything. But that's been my time, guys. It's your gracious game advisor. Yours truly, King Dre. Like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you can get this good game fresh off the press. Hit the hype button. That way we can spread this game, not negativity. Remember, guys, in life, it's about paying the least goofy taxes you can. We all make mistakes. We all do shit. We all do goofy shit. Don't be a goofy. People do goofy shit, but your disposition shouldn't be goofy. You shouldn't be a goofy human being and go through life the more you go through life paying the goofy tax, the more it's going to set you back. So try to live your life in a way where you're not paying goofy tax. But anyway, that's been my time. I'll catch y'all next week. Catch y'all next time.